Hi, besties. You've found your community bestie to share thoughts and opinions, recap the shows we love.
Having too much fun.
Bravo should be fun. And have piping hot gossip sessions about the celebrities and Bravo lebs we love, hate, and love to hate. He went on a podcast claiming he had a threesome with two women from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Immediately, I was like, I wonder if it's Brandy and Carlton.
I'm Caitlin Marshall, your pop culture and Bravo bestie. Allegedly allegations. And if you enjoy fun conversation between friends, listening to your bestie rant about shows we can't get enough of, plus enjoy a little bit of, well, ridiculousness.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. There's a spider that is coming down. Hold on.
It's like the Blair Witch Project.
Oh my God. Has anybody seen my ring?
Oh my God.
I don't want to ruin the party or anything.
Have you seen my ring? Oh my God. Can you look on the floor for my ring? God, John's gonna kill me.
Don't mess with me because I will come.
What? Oh.
Feel free to leave that in for whatever entertainment purposes.
You're in the right place. So thanks for joining me on Besties by Bravo. Hi, besties. Thank you for joining us today, Tuesday, September 10th. Georgio, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's September 10th already.
I can't. It's killing me a little bit. Before we move on, let's just go ahead and tell Miriam in the chat here on YouTube, happy birthday, Miriam.
Happy birthday.
One of the
Amazing.
besties' birthdays. Thank you
Love
for
that.
joining. Before we get started, apparently I have a major apology to issue, Georgio, because I have received emails. Yes,
What happened?
emails. I accidentally, last week on Thursday, called Tamara's daughter, who she is estranged from, Sophia, when it was Sydney. Oh my God, you guys, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I mixed up the names Sydney and Sophia. I apologize. Do we feel better now? Was an accident. For the most part, it's a one-woman show here, my friends. I'm doing my best. Aren't we all? Giorgio and I both are a little loopy today. I've been up since 3:30, woke up and was like, hey, apparently it's a party now. I'm on my third cup of coffee.
I think unfortunately for me, it's just the COVID brain, the lingering whatever that is. And today is immensely better than it has been because it's just been, it's real.
Yeah, that's what you and I were talking about yesterday is that the COVID, my friend Lauren Skay. Hey, Lauren, I love you. When she had COVID last year, she and I were talking about how literally she had severe insomnia after it. And she was doing research and some of it showed it had to do with the changes in the enzymes in your gut type of thing. So if you had the C word and, lost sleep afterward, apparently it's a thing. It is. So, okay. Learn something new every day.
Absolutely.
Well, Real Housewives of Orange County, Georgio.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. I find it fascinating. I got to bring this up first. Jennifer Aiden has been saying that Tamara goes too low. And I'm like, I'm sorry, who said that? Who?
I almost feel like she knew that she was going to get a grab from that because she has to know that is absolutely not something that you would say as Jennifer Aiden.
Right.
Like you have no room to be saying anything about anybody going to. It was just comical. It's just comical that she.
I just think Tamara goes too low.
Miss Ma'am. Okay. Now, I know you and I have some differing opinions on some things with Tamara, but yes, I will say, God, am I agreeing with Jennifer Aiden publicly on something? Yeah, I think Tamara goes too low. Thank God she didn't this episode. It's nice to have an episode where she's not doing that. Praise be.
Yeah, I
Um,
think she's learned to I think yes, not agreed with delivery, but I think she's gotten what she's needed to get off her chest about it at this point. I think she's moving on and
sort of from what well, I don't
ish.
know. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, uh,
What we see coming.
yeah, but I don't know if it'll be the continuous that we've been getting from so far of it airing. So I don't know.
I hope not. Because it has been a lot. And yeah. Okay. Can we just start with one thing in particular? Heather Dubrow, queen of tissue paper origami here. What? There are a lot of things that I've been like, that could not be more Heather Dubrow than anything else I've ever seen. But then, my God, she does something more Heather Dubrow. But let me also say she's winning me over this season. I'm loving Heather right now. Is that
Yeah,
terrible?
I mean, she's killing it. I
I
mean, she's
mean,
giving us everything that we need in between the drama. But I will say the whole tissue paper thing, yeah, I'm sorry. I can't just have that much like for me, I pack
you would
overpack.
totally do that though.
I would love to do that because trust me, there's nothing worse than like unpacking like a shirt and it's got those creases in it. So I get what she's doing with it, but like I just feel like I don't think I have the time to spend wrapping every single piece of clothing.
No, but it's funny because now that I'm thinking about it, this is absolutely a Giorgio Takounakis thing to do. I mean, you do the Polaroids and all of that, which is so admirable. Y'all, I've been up since 3:30. Bear with me. It's like I've become a newborn again myself as opposed to dealing with a newborn. Um, let me tell you, if I have more than one cup of coffee in a day, that means it's been a rough one.
Mm.
I'm on basically number 3. Yeah, okay. Y'all don't need to know the details. Anywho, uh, okay. So here's the thing. I do love how Heather is such an advocate for the LGBTQIA plus community. I think it's wonderful. And I think the way she does it, I know a lot of people have been like, oh, she's exploiting her children. Well, or is she letting them also, if they are choosing, be a voice as well? You know, any platform is a good platform. And I have other thoughts regarding Alexis Bellino and, you know, all of that. But I just kind of want to give the flowers to that. I mean, also, what better place to host an LGBTQIA event than Sonoma? Because you know, there's so much fashion out there too for fashion show. Wine country, it's where the big designers go.
I don't think that she's exploiting them. I think realistically
Mhm.
speaking, she's a public figure and
Agreed.
it's known that her children are LGBTQ. And so why not at least educate the masses while
Yeah.
people are scrutinizing her parenting around it? Because quite frankly, I don't feel that way at all. And I would say that, honestly, because I've always said too, Heather always comes through as a very loving and supporting mother,
Mhm.
regardless of what her children are dealing with.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, can't deny that fact. Now,
No.
when we do find out that Jen, the reason she isn't flying with everyone on this private jet, the PJ, is because she has this court date regarding her divorce and all of that. Now, the private jet in the seating chart, I maybe it's just because Heather is winning me over this season, but Heather insisting on where everyone is sitting, on her own private jet, I'm like, "You know what, honey? As long as, like, Katie was afraid was going to happen, that she was gonna have to be under, where the baggage and animals go, you tell me where to sit, and I will sit there. You're letting me on this PJ of yours? Honey, I'll go where you tell me. All right?" Um,
I thought it was interesting that she well, first of all, she picked seating charts there, but not later, which was
mhm.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and she wanted to be sure to keep Shannon and Alexis separated on this, what, like 30-minute flight?
Yeah, like while they made Shannon do TikToks with Alexis.
Yeah. Okay. And Emily, our little pot stirrer, she asks Shannon if she's been on any dates, and Shannon says she doesn't want to date. And then Emily goes, "You can have fun with somebody, just don't buy him any shoes." And Tamara immediately, she's like, "What shoes? What shoes, bitch? What shoes?
Uh,
What? What? Huh? Tell
shoes.
me, what can I do?"
These
And
shoes.
the shoes. Johnny J loves those Ferragamo shoes, Giorgio.
Didn't he wear them in the engagement photo too?
I believe so. He wears them all the time. Hey, you find a comfy pair of shoes. Okay. Um, and Shannon's just like shaking her head at Emily, and this is while Emily's saying that Ferragamo, because Shannon zoomed in on John's shoes in the photo of him and Alexis on a red carpet for the freaking Oscars. I will never forget how absurd that was to be like, what in the actual fuck are the two of them doing at an Oscars party? Alexis, Jesus Jugs Bellino, and John Jansen.
I mean, not for nothing. It was the DirecTV like sponsored like party thing. So they invited a lot of different influencers and public
Mm.
figures. So I just so happened that I think,
Mm.
John Jansen threw on his Ferragamos and in
Mhm.
memory of Shannon Beador.
In loving memory, because he's trying to literally plow over her. So anywho, Alexis confirms it. She's like, if it's the Ferragamos, yes. So we're getting a cut to Heather in confessional, looking up the shoes on her phone, going, yeah. Oh, they're on sale. $375 to $475. They're not that expensive. Again, now I thought I'd seen the most Heather Dubrow thing I'd ever seen in my life, but now with the tissue paper, and now that was the most Heather Dubrow thing I think I've ever seen in my life. Not that expensive.
I
Harry,
mean,
do you
to
want a pair of
Heather,
Ferragamos?
yeah, I mean, to her, that's like going to Marshall's and finding like Adidas for like $39.99. Like, she's like, oh, you're making a big stink about this belt and these shoes that you can clearly get on sale at one of these third-party websites. Ugh.
At that point, I'd be pissed I even gave John Jansen $5 if you want to know the truth. But
I mean, honestly, I think Shannon's point was John had no clue what any of that stuff was until she entered the
Mhm.
picture. And I do believe that. I do believe the stories about John Jansen getting excited about people pulling clothes for him. Yes, I
Oh, yeah.
do. I do. I'm sorry. He loved that
Mhm.
shit.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, you don't have to love being on TV and the fame of it all to decide that you want to get a new set of veneers. But also, it's really ironic that you get a new set of veneers as soon as your girlfriend, now fiance, goes back on television. Thank you so much. Now, let's talk about this with Alexis. And maybe this is something you can help me with. So I know a lot of people are trying to commend Alexis for supporting the LGBTQIA plus community because she has a trans child. And
Mhm.
to be completely honest, at first I was like, yeah, you know what? Let me commend Jesus Jugs. Considering she has a child. I don't know if she has more than one. Let me backtrack, but I know she at least has one child, a part of that community. And this isn't me just wanting to rag on Alexis, but I feel like as parents, the bare minimum of what we are supposed to be doing for our children is to love and support them, no matter how they identify sexually, otherwise. Like, short of your child doing something that is truly morally and legally and horrifically wrong, you still support your child. And even if they are doing something that's morally and legally wrong, you're always going to love them. But I almost feel like she is getting these extra flowers for it just because she's known as a very outspoken Christian. And you and I both grew up in similar religious backgrounds, we'll say. We've talked about this before, very similar. And the whole point of our backgrounds was love and acceptance. Truly, that's if you're supposed to be doing what Jesus would do, that's what it is. So I'm almost feeling like she's getting a little bit more, she's getting more kudos than really, in my opinion, would be necessary just because of that. Does this make sense to you? Do you know where I'm going with this?
Yes, but I think from my perspective, I don't think the two are conflated for her because
Mhm.
just like with everything else that she's displaying, Christianity is like a checking the box, right? I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to go to church. I'm supposed to do this whole bit, right? But then realistically speaking, she has a child that is LGBTQ. She's a mother. She's going to
Mhm.
absolutely obviously like whatever the doctrine may tell her on Sundays, she's going to move the line because that's her child, right?
Mm.
That's just what the thing about it is. I think I don't really read her as I've really never really seen her talk about it, at least on this show, until the episode. Not because she hasn't brought it up, but because of this event and everything, it actually makes sense for her to discuss it with Heather. But I don't know if she's getting more kudos for it because she's a Christian. I think a lot of it is based in just people wanting to conflate the two. Like, I really don't think she's because if you did, then she would be not as supportive. If you were, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, if you're
Mhm.
really following the doctrine, you may say, like, uh, because a lot of parents have to deal with that, the spirituality part of it. And if they really follow the doctrine word for word, then yes. But I don't think she separates the two, just like she separates it when it comes to coming for Shannon
Mm.
in this vitriol like
Well,
way, which is
Giorgio, that's what
also
Jesus would
not,
do.
but that's my point. She separates that like it's a different box.
Right. Yeah. 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 Mhm. Let's go ahead and take a moment to say hi to everyone in the chat really quick. Again, happy birthday, Miriam. Hi, Annie. Hi, Just Kelly. And hi, June. I want to also say hi to Danny. Thank y'all for joining us today. If you are watching live on YouTube, please join the chat. Also, I finally got our community here. I say I. It was a collective effort, in my opinion. We're finally at 1,000, but then I saw it was fluctuating between 999 and 1,000. So if you are here live on YouTube, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can join the community and be a part of the convo. Okay. Okay. Perfect, betches. Just kidding. Love you. Um, so let's just go ahead and move on to the Shannon and John Jansen of it all. Okay. Now Shannon again is possibly being expected to pay $75,000. $75,000 for us peons. That is it's a very large sum of money. That's a year's salary for a lot of people. Okay. And hey, extortion, because she's basically, we're gonna find out, expected to pay to shut him up. Complete and total emotional warfare here. But she offers him around $35,000 to try and prevent the lawsuit. You know, the fact John didn't just take that money and say, okay, no problem. But I also see the point where it's like if Shannon pays him anything at this point, where we're at in this timeline, well, when the timeline doesn't, we haven't gotten to the video part, but who's to say he's not going to come back for more and more and more? That's where it gets tricky, you know?
But I mean, I would then think that Shannon had him sign off on you cannot come after me for a dime
Remember the
more.
NDA? And he wouldn't.
Well, but that was more around him not speaking negatively about. So he was. See, if he would have signed that, then he would not be able to be on the show doing these antics, and that was what she was trying to prevent. She knew his character.
Yeah. I'm still dying to know what Shannon knows. I've seen someone tweet out, like, we will start a GoFundMe for Shannon Beador and her legal fees. Tell us what you know about Johnny J. Tell
She's gonna have
us.
to put that in the book.
God bless. She should. She should write that book. Lots of spiritual healing and crystals. So they do a little sparkling wine tasting in Sonoma where Heather partnered with the organization to create sparkling wines, basically American champagne, which, it was great that all the proceeds go to the organization because they were suing essentially the state of Florida for the Don't Say Gay law. And that's, in case anyone is questioning, for a child who maybe has two parents that are, let's just go with the bare minimum here, two parents of the same sex, they are not allowed to say that my parents are gay in school. This is where we were at this time. And God forbid a child come to the realization that their sexuality is not heterosexual or heteronormative, they wouldn't be allowed to say anything about it and the damage that would do later on. I mean, it's endless, right? Now, every flavor of sparkling wine represents one of Heather's children. Did we have the extras for the frozen embryos? Did we? Just wondering. How many flavors did we have?
It was
No?
No, I think it was just 3, right?
I
4?
thought she has 4.
4. Good for her.
4. Okay. So Jenn shows up finally and she tells them about the court hearing and that she's getting $6,000 in temporary support a month for her 5 children. Listen, maybe where I'm from in Oklahoma, if you don't have kids in private school, if they're going to public school, there are good public schools in Oklahoma, I promise. And you already own a home, you could provide for just your children, but that's 5 of them. That's 5. No, I don't know. That's
Here's the thing. Let's get really crystal clear on this. $6,000 for 5 children is more than enough because let's just put that aside. It is. Sorry, you're not going to be able to give them these fake niceties that you've been giving them. Sure, but you're talking about
sweetheart.
$72,000. Well, no.
Yeah, they're expensive. These kids.
Oh,
expensive.
well, yes, these kids are probably
No.
expensive.
Children.
So
because
then-
break it down to 1. Because if
okay.
that's expecting to just on the child for school activities, I'm telling you, it is insane. For just school activities, paying for food that is breakfast, lunch, dinner, then whatever you have to pay for anything else for school. Let's say they're not going to public school, but if they weren't, it would be a whole other bag. But let's say they're going to public school. I'm telling you right now, my child costs my 3-year-old. It is well over $1,000 a month. And that's so that when you split that up between 5 children, that's about how much just for like one of his activities for 3-year-olds basketball. Okay. Because you want them to try things. Okay. You want to get them working on hand-eye coordination, different types of things. He's in soccer, basketball. It is for 4 weeks. We're looking at $150. Then soccer for 4 weeks, another $150. We're already $300 in, and we're not including the food. And the food has to be specific for him to bring to school because you can't have peanuts. So things have to be the more expensive. Nut butter, or sunflower butter, sun butter. That's what they call it. And you include all of these things. Then they're growing so much. I literally lose my mind every day. I'm like, dude, where are all of your fucking clothes? I know I just bought you like 8 shirts and 4 pairs of pants. In the same thing with the shoes. It's constant. Things that you're not even realizing. It adds up faster than anyone could imagine. And mine is now potty trained. So we don't call them diapers. We just have nighttime undies because that's a hormone that comes in, and you can't control that, right? That's a hormone. I'm not buying diapers anymore. So just the amount of money I spend on milk every week, I'm telling you. And to have teenagers who eat a lot more, honey, $6,000 for 5 kids a month. Also in a place where groceries, the cost of living, forget like what type of living situation, the cost of living, as in how much the gas costs to drive them to school, things like that. And school activities are way more expensive than toddler sports activities because, honey, this stuff is cheap. There are, I want to get him in swim lessons again, things like that. That's going to be another $200 a month for once a week.
No, I get what you're saying, and I'm not saying it's cheap to raise children, especially not 5, but I think it's also, I mean, unless he's supposed to give her 100% of how much it costs to raise that many children, and then she just doesn't do anything. I'm struggling on where does she show up?
She needs to show up, yes, but
how much should she show up?
Here's how this also works is throughout the entirety of their relationship, she didn't even have a credit card in her own name. Whether that's her fault or not, that's the dynamic of relationship he agreed to. And he works in big pharma. He's doing great, okay? Let me say he should be upfronting 70% of those kids, their whatever their expenses are. Now, if they want to revisit support in 2 years, especially after her being on the show, seeing what money she's making, they can do that. And that would make sense. They could have and he's also an attorney. They could have those contingencies where we will revisit it. But she should not be upfronting that much because she's having to start from scratch. Again, whether that's fault of her own or not, that was an agreement within their marriage. It's like basically a 20-year-old starting out with no college education in the workforce. And again, let's just take away whatever the feelings are about that, that is how it should be. And I would say the same thing if she were the breadwinner throughout their entire relationship and it were him. It doesn't matter to me. Gender, it doesn't matter. If you guys had that agreement in your marriage and it's done, hey, he's the attorney. He should have put in there a prenup, quite frankly. That's the way it should go. And she really got, to me, royally fucked on that. Because if you say, hey, yeah, let's go ahead and have 5 kids, the amount children cost up until they're 18 it's insane. And it's, I'm not going to go on a whole diatribe about it, about the state of our country and supporting parents, things like that. That's not what I'm going to go on about. But
I think I get what you're saying.
I
get all of that, and he should absolutely take care of the kids financially. But I think I guess from where I'm sitting, it just seems like she's sitting around while this is getting sorted out. Whether or not that's where it stays is not the point. The point is you're not you made the decision to leave your marriage. So with that, you knew that there was going to be some shifts. And sometimes when situations, and everything's a situation, it's independent of all the other situations. Yes, there's a factor of this is at play, that's at play. The reality, 5 kids in Orange County is going to be very expensive. Okay. However, in the midst of all that, there's also, she does have a lot weighing on her side in terms of having to figure things out. But it almost felt like we're waiting for things to get resolved where he's eventually going to have to come to the table with money, which eventually he did. But clearly there was other things going on, because why wouldn't she have been favored in a situation like that?
And that's the question, isn't it?
That's
Like,
where I'm
why?
confused. Like, if was cheating part of this? Like, was he able to prove that, and that's why it doesn't come off like she got in her actual settlement? I mean, like the way it was laid out, it didn't feel like it was worth all the stress in the end.
Right. Now, to me, in my understanding, if there was proof of cheating, that the any type of alimony, that's where she should have gotten hit, not where the kids are concerned, because they're not just her kids, they're their kids. And that's the part that I'm talking about. If you want to be able to say nope, alimony this and that, but you have to provide for those children you decided to also be a part of bringing into the world, including making the very big decision of adopting a child from an unfortunate situation. So that's the part I'm talking about. If you don't want to be paying her this and that alimony, that's a whole other bag, you know? Um, it's about taking care of the kids. And at the end of the day,
Yeah,
it
I
does
mean,
not
that's
matter as a
I don't
parent.
think
If someone cheated on me, that's my beef with them. It has nothing to do with my kids.
that has never been an issue for me. I think the kids should get every dime that they
Mhm.
need to keep the lifestyle that they were accustomed to living,
Yeah.
regardless of Jen and what she gets out of it. She made her own choices. I agree that he needs to step up, but all I'm saying is realistically in the situation, there was a lot of anger on his side based
Must be.
on the Ryan situation and
Mhm.
resentment. So yeah,
Understandable.
he obviously had it because she had to fight to get those financial records to be exposed so that she could really get what she needed. But in the end, she still seemed to have gotten nothing in comparison to what she
She
was
should
going
have.
up against, right?
Yeah.
And so when you look at it like, okay, fine, let's be generous. Let's say $20,000 a month for 6 kids or 5 kids. Is that fair?
I mean,
If
for
she
prov
wasn't gonna get a lot of alimony, I'm saying. Like, if let's say they take it from the alimony because it's like, "Look, you decided to leave your marriage and there's some cheating, whatever. Fine, you're gonna get this much alimony. It's not a lot, but your kids will get X amount of dollars because they need a stable home. They should be able to keep consistency in terms of, like,
Mhm.
lifestyle, all that stuff." But it just feels like was there something with regarding her yoga studio? Are they factoring in her finances of being on the show?
That's
That's why I'm just like,
that's what I was wondering about that lump sum she got. Was that also a bit of a bailout for the yoga studio, I wonder? That's something that I was, like, trying to mull over in my head because it was kind of an odd random like lump sum amount to me, and I don't know if that was where it was like, oh, but he wasn't giving her anything for x amount of months, and it's not like back support because they didn't have any agreement yet. So I don't know, it's a little confusing. The law is very confusing, lots of rules.
well, and we also don't know too much about him either, and so
Mm-mm.
it's just off of her side of things.
Yeah, basically. They do bring up that allegedly Shannon Ubered herself to a bar and was having a cocktail by herself after the whole thing of Johnny J and Jesus Jugs red carpet debut. Now, okay, well, number one, if that's the case, she learned her lesson. Number two, I do feel like Shannon is I don't know. It's one of two things. I either feel like Shannon is smarter than to do this, like go in public and have a cocktail at a bar immediately after that. One, or she genuinely still believes that she's not as recognizable as she is. It's one of two things.
I think she's in denial that and there's any I think that's the issue that I struggle with Shannon is she doesn't see it quite the way she needs to. Like, she's almost there in all the other ways, but in this one spot, for some reason, I don't know, maybe it has something to do with it being like something that's prevalent in her family. Maybe that's how her family's dealt with it. So it's not like a habit to her. It's like I don't know, like it's ingrained in her without her realizing is what it feels like. Cause I do believe she
Mm.
went to a bar and it was not a mocktail, to Heather's point. Who goes to a
Well,
bar to order a mocktail?
it, to be honest, if she had responded differently, I would have been like, look, we don't know. Maybe we can believe it. But something about her response didn't read complete and total truth, but also like, come on, like this is getting a little bit fucking ridiculous. Like policing her if she literally Ubered over there. Like, why is everyone trying to play parole officer for her at that point? It's just kind of like, give me a break. Who cares? Okay, so we get to the part where Shannon gets a call from her attorney that John won't take her offer. And here's the thing, I both agree and disagree with Emily on Shannon just cut a check for John but if you have the money, just be done with it. But again, $75,000. And I know Emily as a friend, like, because to be honest, I typically am the person that will be like, if you can throw money at it, just throw money at it, make it go the F away. When it's clearly she's being tormented at this point, and I don't think there's any denying that. But also, it's like we don't know what happened in their relationship. So part of me is like, God, the one time John Jansen did anything for Shannon, he's gonna hold that shit over her head and go this far. Ooh, to me, I don't know. My ex, I'd be like, you aren't getting a motherfucking dime from me.
To me, listen, this is where I'm sitting with it. If I were in Alexis's position and the guy that I just started dating was acting like this towards his ex, I don't care what the reason is. I do not care. I don't care if it was warranted, justified. I'm not interested anymore because
Scary.
you come off like a little bitch boy. Like that is bitch boy behavior. You want
Yes.
$75,000 and you want to hold on to this ring camera footage to keep her mouth quiet even longer in case she says something down the road. Like, what are your intentions here? So it's like the fact that she's not like almost like she's ready to go there with him is a huge red flag and turn off for me as to like look at her as just her character in the
Mhm.
situation. So I struggle there and I hate to be like I never want to just pile on someone and I know I've like poked a lot of fun at her, but
It's hard
it
not
is
to.
it's the edit, yes, but she put it out there to begin with for them to use in the edit and so they're going to go with what's prevalent and this is this is something huge. There's extortion and blackmail now. Like
Yes.
we're basically threatening like, oh no, we're not going to take half. We want full and we have this camera footage. So if you don't shut your mouth about Johnny J, we will release it. Like that's very dark.
I think at this point, I'm kind of shocked more wasn't done against this alleged ring footage. Do you know what I'm saying? Where I'm sorry, if I were Shannon, I'd be going straight to my attorney and I know your first instinct is to panic and go, just give him whatever he wants. Well, okay, let's get there. I'm sorry. Hold on. Remember that thought, Caitlin. It's been a day already. Listen, I already was late. McCoy's first school project had to bring in a family picture. And guess what? Mama, we already know what family we're going to be markers and poster board and tape and glue at 10 p.m. at Walmart the night before a school project because I had to go run and pick up because who has a printer that prints off photos anymore? This morning. I had to go straight this morning and go get some. Anyway, so it's just been a day. It's like a little hectic over here. The brain is not braining like usual. How about that? I'm going to repeatedly ask this question until we get a different answer. I am. How has Shannon Storms Beador ruined John Jansen's reputation? How is it that really, the fact that she says for the first 3 years of our relationship, he didn't pay for anything. Is that truly that damaging to your reputation? Because I'm sorry, I'd be like, yeah, I didn't pay for shit, honey. They really wanted this. So give me a fucking break. I'm really exhausted of this. And this is just so you know the context. I'm talking about where Tamara and Heather and Jenn and Alexis are at this wine tasting now that Jenn has shown up. What has she done?
I think the thing here is that John Jansen is got a very big ego.
Mm.
And when any threat to that ego is put out there, like he can't pay for things or that his girlfriend had to pay for stuff. And, she's telling, people that she had to cover the bill when the stylists would come and he wanted to wear something nice. And so, because you know how that works, stylists don't come for free. You have to buy at least 25% of what was pulled and be agreeable to that. So yeah, I do believe she did cover those bills. I absolutely do. And I think he also sat back and enjoyed every second of it. Not because he didn't have the money, but because he was like,
If I don't have to spend it, I won't.
she's on TV. She's got it. You're right. Like and then he picked up the tab later on, but now it's like used over her head.
Well, because then Alexis tries to claim she attempted to get John to accept Shannon's offer, just take whatever she wants. Now, see, that at this point would have been the good Christian girl thing to do. This is the thing about Alexis, is she is going to cater, kowtow, whatever you want to say, to whatever the man who is just putting her back through the bed frame is telling her to do. And she is not someone who has her own brain. And I think that's part of where, and it was very clear when she and Jim were on the show together, in the way she would really sometimes let him run through her on things. It's just like, I was excited, I'm going to be honest, that Alexis was coming back on the show as a friend of. And I was glad she wasn't coming on as an orange holder, but I have to say, I was like, yeah, I love a nostalgic moment. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's just,
I think the issue here is with Alexis. She's been bred to go for the male gaze and validation. And I think that's more of something that's generational within her, her lineage, because I think that's something that unfortunately was something and still is used in order to get, taken care of, be the good housewife, Christian housewife, do this, do that. And then when you see someone like Alexis trying to have independence, you're rooting for her for like that nostalgic moment, to your point, but then you see her jump right back into another guy and it's like, oh no, I don't care about anyone else except this guy now. Like, this is going to be my focus. This is my personality now. And that's where I think it gets lost on people. And then it makes her not likable.
Yeah. It's just, she's single white femaling her. She's being a bunny boiler, all of it. Okay, so we're going to go over to the spa day thing where, God bless, Gina, quote unquote, accidentally lets the video thing slip in this conversation, saying how she feels like this has all been too much on Shannon, like the video thing. Listen, Gina has her moments where she pisses me off, but I want everyone to stop for a second and realize that Gina was doing Shannon such a solid here.
This was fantastic for Gina. I know it was a slip up, quote unquote. I don't think it was a slip up. I think the intention was Gina was going to make it seem like a slip up, because she really was like, no, we've somehow got to let her know. This is getting crazy now with this. Like, he's not even accepting half bit. She's going to keep giving him money and doesn't even know that this video is being threatened to be used against her on camera. That's wild. I don't know if I could sit through many conversations with her.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, I would find a way.
And God bless, Shannon basically becomes the new version of name 'em. Name 'em.
What video thing? What video thing? Oh, what video thing? What video thing?
And I don't blame her. And they confirm it's from the night of her DUI. She fully loses it, understandably. And she's like, is this bad? And it is bad from what it sounds like. We don't know. And from what I understand, this video is never going to see the light of day. They've put Shannon on another show. What was it, like the dating show that she's going to be there with, like Luann and all of that. So, listen, Bravo loves Shannon. Shannon has given us everything in herself over the entire course she's been on here. The only thing, ironically, she tried to protect while on here was John Jansen. That was it. That was the only thing she would ever be like, I'm not going there. That is the only fucking time, y'all. Only time. That's just who she is as a person, I think. But
it is, but I also think for Shannon, like, she has an unhealthy relationship with the show and what she decides to use a storyline. And I think, yes, we appreciate Shannon for everything she's been transparent about from the very beginning. Because quite frankly, as soon as she got on the show, everything started to like fall off the wagon. But she's a trooper. I will give her that, because she had to know that this was going to be a tough season. But I think the whole this stuff now is becoming icky. Like, it's just not, this isn't just like bickering about a man. This is like extortion. I agree
up
1000% with Gina. Like,
yes, it is. It's
call
extortion.
your lawyer and be like, absolutely not.
Get a cease and desist, whatever you have to do. I don't know. I'm not an attorney. Clearly. So let's this part, this is painful. This is painful. After all of this, Shannon goes to lay down, and Shannon goes into Heather's room, and she tells Heather about how she now knows about the video. And this, I have to admit, I feel like we're getting another new version of the story of Shannon's DUI. And she says she hit the house that was, now it depends on what part of the country you're from. Some people say kitty corner. I say catty corner. There's other. Yeah, I say catty corner. She hit the house that was like catty corner from John's, and the police were there, and she says she went unconscious and woke up in the hospital. And I guess, a day or two later, Shannon's friend pointed out that Shannon hit the house just and I remember this is true. I do remember this because the videos we saw, it was like right there.
Yeah, it was literally right out the driveway.
Yeah, she hit the house a few seconds after backing out from John's driveway, and it was just a few houses down. And so Shannon says she couldn't remember. So this also tells us, no, she was very intoxicated that night if she couldn't remember. Like, yes, she may have hit her head, but also I think she was incredibly intoxicated, because I also think that she has no idea what could be on this alleged video because she doesn't remember.
Right.
So that's part of what's scary for her, is that she does not remember. And I mean, my God. So she goes through her messages, and she sent him a photo that he essentially ignored, this crazy, scary looking photo. I'm sorry, even if I'm whatever their shit was, if someone's just left my home when I told them that they were a drunken idiot, that they shouldn't drive, and they send me that photo, I'm going to be like, oh my fucking God, are you at least okay? And I'm sorry, you're an asshole if you don't just go, are you okay? You can cut whatever you want off, but are you okay is the appropriate response. And I guess he ignored her and didn't text her back till 1:30 a.m. saying, what the fuck is going on? The cops brought Archie here. I can tell Georgio's about to disagree with me. I see the look on his face.
No, I'm not disagreeing.
Oh.
I'm just, this is just all like, yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. Oh, I just lost my place. Hold on. Sorry. And the picture is bad. It's bad.
Oh,
Somehow
yeah, it was
Shannon
good.
still looked very pretty in it, though. Just have to
I
say.
don't know. That was a serious.
Yes.
That was a serious injury, and she's very lucky.
She is very lucky, but point being,
we didn't see it in a text message thread. She only pulled up the photo from her gallery. So now I'm wondering, did the photo not deliver for whatever reason? And so maybe there was this like lag. I don't know. I'm not.
I think that they couldn't show, and yeah, I think they couldn't show any messages between her and John.
Got it.
That's my guess.
I mean, that would make sense, because if he's being like weird, she probably doesn't. Yeah.
Remember, they wouldn't even play him when he was on speaker with Alexis. They wouldn't even play his voice. So that's where my brain goes on it. I'm not entirely sure. It makes me, once again, like, Shannon is going full throttle, like headfirst into the show. And you made a good point though, that like does she have a healthy relationship with this show? And I don't know that she does, but that's where Shannon was kind of course, I do believe Shannon went to college from what I remember seeing, but Shannon wasn't too far off from being in a similar situation that Jenn is in when she and David Beador divorced. And so what are people going to say? Well, you better do something. She did start a company and she's on the show. That's her paycheck. So it's kind of a mixed bag of like what's the right answer here. But before we like move on to everything, have you been watching number 1 Selling Sunset?
I've never watched an episode of Selling Sunset, and I know, but
It's such a quick, easy watch.
I know, but I dove head in on the Secret
Mormon
Lives of
Wives?
Mormon Wives, binged it all in a day.
I'm about to finish the last episode. I'm still
I quite literally love everything about it. It's got so much nostalgia in the way it's shot and the way that it just is reminiscent of like it gives off like The Hills had a baby with Real Housewives.
Georgio, Selling Sunset, the creator is the same creator as The Hills.
Yes.
It is shot
Yes.
identical to The Hills. Y'all,
No,
Georgio
I
loves
know.
The Hills.
I know. First of all, 2 things. That type of show is something that I could easily get sucked into, and so the amount of storylines that are involved with Selling Sunset is just like overwhelming to me because I just know how.
They're 30-minute episodes though, so it's not so bad.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
okay. So then that's doable.
They
Okay,
might
so
have
I
one
mean,
episode that's 40 minutes long, but they have stuff in it, and there's a lot of real estate and stuff in it, so it's not like it's broken up by a lot of things that I'm like, I'm so jealous of people who can afford this home right now. But I have to tell you, we got a cameo from Michelle from the Valley was on the season finale episode. I finished it this morning. Just saying. No, it was last night I finished it. Michelle Lawley, formerly
she was on what episode?
of Selling Sunset.
Oh, I was like, she was on
For real
Secret
estate,
Lives
yeah.
of Mormon Wives? I missed it. I didn't even see her. Oh, no, okay. Well, that
Can I
makes
ask
sense
you,
then.
are you like Team Taylor or Team Whitney on Mormon Wives?
Well, I'm definitely not Team Whitney.
No.
No way.
Do you know I went on a spiral last night in her old TikToks? It is like she is about 5 different people in all of these. And I'm like, holy shit.
I said that the entire time I was watching. I was like, wow, she's like morphed into like 3 different characters on this show from the start to the end. Cause I'm like, what is going on? Like, it's like
Georgia, go through her TikTok. It is.
I thought her gay husband was like going through like 5 million different looks. Allegedly.
No, not even just looks, Giorgio. This girl, well, no, you know why her hair is different, as mine is everywhere, is because they first shot the pilot and were shooting things, and then Taylor went to, had her incident with the law. But I'm telling you, not even just how she looks, like how she acts. She seems like a funny, happy-go-lucky, silly, kind of a little too over the top girl on her TikTok. I'm telling you, I'm going through there. I'm like, this does not equate to the same person. Like, she literally is doing one video where she's wearing a matching dress with her daughter. This is what we wore to church today. And then in the next video, you know that song where it was like, one margarita, I'm a
right. Yeah. She's very like, that's
she's
what I mean.
Straight up doing that dance, like mimicking the gestures at what looked to be a wedding in the very next video.
Do that. They all do
in
that.
the same dress though.
But I think that's the point of like one of the points of Mom Talk is to be progressive and be like comfortable in your skin and your sexuality. Nonetheless, Whitney from the get-go, I knew she was going to be a problem. And the reason why I knew that was not because of her husband's mustache or that super bleached blonde top or whatever was going on. It was the fact that she was checking on a child that did not look like it fit anywhere in there. Because for a second, when they were driving back, she's like, let me check, let me unbuckle. And I'm like, where is the child within? Because it was like they packed
Oh, I didn't
everything,
even
and I was
notice
like,
that.
anybody that that packs that much in and then puts a baby in there as well, when you guys could have just shipped some of that stuff.
Well, do you know what I didn't realize until 2 days ago? She's that mom that was on social media while her, like, 16-week-old baby had RSV in the hospital and was
Well, yeah, she
dancing.
got called out for that, and but that's the thing, she doesn't take accountability. You know
That
who
is
was
the
a
most
real
insane thing I've ever seen.
I know everyone's doing Taylor versus Whitney, but and obviously, like, I would side with Taylor over Whitney any day, but do you
Yeah.
know who really won this for me?
Macy.
Demi.
Oh,
Yes, obviously her. But she was from the get-go, she knew what she was doing.
no,
Demi
Demi was
really
good.
came in swinging towards the middle part. She really had me for a second because I was like, "Oh, no." Because, like, Layla looks like she was a viewer on the show. Like, she was just like it
Yeah.
took her a while to speed up, and then obviously, like, there's
Yeah,
so much
she's
to this series that I'm gonna be doing like my normal recaps, like my Housewives recaps. I'm gonna do one for each of the episodes because it was that good, and there's so much to unpack.
I may have met someone the other day that used to work with Jesse. Which also, can I ask you this very
Is this gonna
before
be about
she
the
even
hair
said it?
extensions?
Yeah.
Oh.
What did you yes. Did you how did you read the name of Jesse's salon?
I said this when Jeff and I were watching it because when she brought it up on there, being like, people keep saying it's jizz, and it's like,
I was like,
well, so then here's the thing. This is where you do your market research. Why not? I don't know. Those two letters, most people are probably going to quickly glance and think jizz, like jizz hair or like whatever. Why not throw that around a couple like people and be like, what do you think this says? And if 4 out of the 5 people say jizz, don't use that name.
if even 1 out of the 5 says that, I'm not gonna use it. But apparently, this person I met, I don't wanna give anything away about them because they were like, "Yeah, I'm gonna hate watch it," because they worked with her for a while, and they cannot stand Jesse. I didn't I'm gonna say is that's what I heard. This is unverified, but it was a moment where I couldn't ask more questions, unfortunately, and I was like, "God damn it. Tell me more, please." Oh, I lost you, Giorgio. Yep, I lost you.
Can you hear me?
Yep, now I
Can
can
you
hear
hear
you.
me? Okay.
Yeah.
So the thing that got lost for me was that a lot of them, it seemed that they weren't sure what they were supposed to be doing for a little bit. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden it just kind of like turned
Fell into
around.
place.
And then now
Mhm.
I'm like, there's a lot of history here that I just never, because I never even knew what was going on in that world, like mom talk and all that stuff. Obviously, like
No.
that's not any of my stuff, but it's been very interesting learning about just how they let loose.
Mhm. Mhm. In such relatively clean ways. I think we can all collectively agree Zach Affleck is not our favorite person. That's for goddamn sure.
Oh my gosh, he's getting eaten up alive. Like
As he
everyone's just
should.
like everything she's posted, they're like, "Did Zach approve this? Did Zach approve it?" Like you had to know that that was not going to favor him, though. Like she had to have
No.
known.
No, but that's his own goddamn fault for doing that to her. Don't be a dick.
But I'm
Jesus
confused. It
Christ.
seems like they're not in New York. Like they made
No, it
it seem.
doesn't look like it.
Anyways, I don't want to give it away
No, yeah,
for anyone
okay.
who hasn't seen it.
Right, yeah. Well, friends, again, if you're watching here live on YouTube, please be sure and subscribe to the channel, join the community, hit the like button. Please follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Besties by Caitlin, Caitlin. Leave a 5-star review anywhere you listen. And Giorgio, where can everyone find you?
Thank you. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Georgio Says, and my podcast, Georgio Says, is everywhere you get your podcasts.
Yeah. Okay. And leave a 5-star review there too. Thank you so much. Besties, I will see you Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard. I got a little mixed up in my head there. I always do. Thank you again for joining, and I will see you on Thursday. We'll do some gossip. Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.